Welcome to the WedCo podcast, where wedding wisdom meets street smarts.
We're dishing out all the tips, tricks, and wedding goss to take your wedding to the next level.
Time to ditch the formalities and get this party started. Hello and welcome to the WedCo podcast. I'm Toga, and today we have Sarah from Florals and Co co-hosting with us. And we also got Harley from Bold Creative.
Hello.
Thanks so much for coming on, mate.
Thanks for having me.
Really appreciate it. You had a big wedding yesterday.
Yeah, big one.
Yeah.
And got a little bit of sleep.
Feeling fresh as a daisy, I hear.
Wedding
Yes.
hangover.
Yeah. Got two kids at home and family kept me up at night, but I'm good. I'm ready to go.
It's always the way, isn't it? Like you got something big coming up and you're like, kids, let's stay awake all night.
Yes.
Or you just can't sleep because you're like wired because you've had a big day at work, or you've got
Yes.
something the next morning
Yes,
early.
yeah, 100%. It's good to be on there. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much, mate. Well, we might start with a little bit of your backstory.
Yeah.
Bold Creative and yourself. Going for that.
Yeah. So Bob Creatives, I'm one half of Bob Creative. So my wife, Ainsley, and I started the business almost 10 years ago. Take you back a little bit further, like we were dating in high school. We met at church, and we'd often go on dates with our camera in hand and just shooting bugs and trees and landscapes and all that kind of fun stuff. And then, we got married almost 10 years ago, and off the back of that, started the business straight away. I was studying primary school teaching. Ainsley was a nurse. We kind of just jumped into it. We started the business, and I finished up my degree, and then kind of was a teacher for about 6 months. But Bowl kind of took off quite quickly. Our second or third wedding was in New Zealand. It was a friend of a friend, and we kind of started booking international or just weddings quite quickly. So we had to kind of make a decision. We're at a crossroads whether to stay with our careers or pursue this, and we just decided, well, we can always come back to the careers. So we stuck with it and have been doing it ever since. So it's been great.
It's so good. That's such a good story. Like there's so many like people who are really good at their craft. They're like, oh, I just fell into this. Like we
Yes,
just did a wedding, and then all of a sudden, like Facebook, I booked another 10. It's just oh, this is what we're doing now.
Yeah.
It's funny though. Like we love photography. I had more of a video background, but we both love photography, and we just tried everything when we launched the business. We were shooting kids' birthdays to cake smashes to all that stuff, and then we just really fell into an engagement shoot. Then we shot their wedding, and then the flow-on effect from there, and we just started booking like crazy. And we started in the glory years of social media, where you could post something on Instagram and you'd get 100 followers or whatever it was, and then you'd book a wedding off the back of that. It was the organic reach was a little bit better. And so we just have been shooting ever since. Probably shot 500 or 600 weddings all around the world, which has been great.
Amazing.
And trying to bring everything back more so to Australia, just because we've got two kids. We've got a almost 3-year-old and a 4 or 5 month old at home. So it's good though. It's good. We get to spend time with kids and have that lifestyle of shooting weddings, but also spending time with family.
Yeah, because you were doing a lot overseas as well, like in the past.
Yeah, when we we got a little bit burnt by COVID. So we traveled a lot with the Elopement Collective. So we shot a lot of weddings. Shot a lot of elopements and weddings overseas, but a lot of the travel was with Britt and Josh from the Elopement Collective. So we started with them probably about 6 or 7 years ago, and I've shot weddings and elopements both in Europe and the States and Asia and New Zealand. I think they were fun. They definitely were, and I love doing it. But now our life's changed. We've got kids.
Different stage of life.
Yeah, 100%. And so I don't know, you look at other photographers over there and you're like, well, I still want to do that, but I know that I need to be there for my kids, and that's why we started the business as well, because we wanted that lifestyle. Traveling was fun. There's a lot of fun stories with that. Just trying to shoot mainly Southeast Queensland. I do a bit in Sydney and Melbourne. I was just in Perth only a couple of days ago as well.
And you're Gold Coast based?
Yeah, Gold Coast based. Yeah. So I don't often shoot on the Gold Coast. I'm probably more in Brisbane, Sydney or Melbourne, but I'm trying just to get a little bit more Gold Coast weddings. I shoot here often. The Gold Coast market and venues and stuff have I've really come a long way over the years.
Yeah, there's so many beautiful spots opening up.
For sure, for sure. It's a lot more money spent in venues and things like that. So
And I feel like the old venues are doing refurbs. They're really
yes, yeah.
keeping up. They're going, oh, a bit of
Mm.
competition here, and they're
Mm.
putting in money to refurb. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, definitely.
And I feel that's a good thing over the last couple of years. Like people, like it's almost not even a choice for venues and for vendors. It's like unless you are really like upping your level, you kind of are getting left behind. So it's
Yeah,
like,
and I feel like even for the Gold Coast, when the Valley Estate opened 3 or 4 years ago, I think, when this opened, it was like, oh, this was so beautiful, like so much money put into it, so beautifully done that from then other venues started opening up, but other venues also started doing renovations.
Yes,
so
yeah.
everyone's just leveled up their game. So
For
we're
sure, for
we're lucky because I feel like it used to all for a long time was Byron or Brisbane,
yeah.
but now there's such a pull to the coast, so there's like a buzz. It's exciting.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
do you currently have a preference over elopements versus weddings?
Not really. Like, I love both. Like, elopements are a little bit more intimate. You're only shooting a couple of hours. I only really do elopements during the week, so Monday to Thursday. So it's good in that sense. So I can allow Friday to Sunday for the bigger weddings. But there's no real preference. Like bigger weddings, there's a lot more to shoot. So you kind of have to be a little bit more on, I think, a little bit.
Do you have a team that you take with you? Like, if you have someone
No, it's
lean
usually
on?
just me. Like some couples book a second shooter, but it's just me.
But
which
all
is
that
great.
experience, you know what you're
Yeah, I
doing.
think I've been doing it for almost 10 years, and
Yeah.
so like weddings kind of come second nature. I
Mhm.
think, and with the whole like trend shift into more capturing the vibe
Mhm.
over like storytelling, it's like I don't know, it resonates with me a bit more.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I struggle with elopements. Like you go to a wedding with 100 people and you can just stand back and you're not a focal point at all.
Yeah.
Whereas like when you have like 10 people or something, you are a really big presence, even if you're not trying to be.
Yes, yeah.
And so, yeah, I definitely kind of stick more towards like the bigger weddings because I feel so awkward, even though I'm not
Yeah.
trying to be.
Yeah. I think I enjoy that. Like I'm not an extrovert, I'm not an introvert. I kind of sit in the middle, and I can kind of be a little bit more of a, I don't know, a chameleon. Like I can adapt to those things, and I
And read the room when you walk in to
100%.
what the
Yeah,
couple's
and
like.
to what the couple wants. But yeah, I know what you mean. Like it's a little bit more on you when you're shooting elopements, whereas you can hide a little bit more.
You're kind of the
weddings.
third wheel when you're shooting elopements.
Yeah,
If it's
for
sort of just
sure.
you and the couple. Yeah, it's much more intimate.
I guess it's just something I've become a lot more used to, and I think like Ainsley used to shoot with me years ago, so she just does all the editing now. And so for about 5 years we shot together, and so Ainsley's a very creative person. She was the creative brains on the day. I was kind of a little bit more of like the leader, or my approach is a little bit more systematized, a little bit more logical thinking, and so like I used to be the one to get the safe shots and like a little bit more interaction with the couple, where Ainsley kind of used to shoot the creative stuff, and I've kind of taught myself to do both.
Yeah.
And so just the number of weddings and elopements that I've shot have kind of taught me that.
Yeah, okay. That was the same. Like my wife, Kashiri, and I, we used to shoot together,
Mm.
and I was like full technical. I knew exactly what I was doing, and then she'd rock up with like a 50 mil and not take it off her camera all day and
Yes,
get
yeah.
these epic shots.
100%. Yeah.
And like, I still wish she was shooting because like all these trendy slow shutter things she would destroy.
Yeah.
And whereas like I have to actually really think about
about
these shots, whereas just like that looked good to her and she'd just like take a photo. I'm like, yeah.
100%. No. Yeah. And there's so many days because Ainsley does all
It's like
the editing.
natural at it.
Because Ainsley does the weddings. Sorry, the editing.
Yep.
When she looks at the weddings, she'll like, oh, you should have done this or should have done that. I'm like, I'm only one person.
Yeah.
But no, she's great. She always gives me encouragement and gives me feedback as well. And sometimes I take it, sometimes I don't. But, that's the nature.
Yeah, you would
of
have
it.
to find that like happy medium, being husband and
Yeah.
wife working together,
Yes,
of like
yeah.
not, taking constructive criticism, but
Yeah. Yeah, and
not
I
butting
think
heads.
I think we've been doing it for so long
Yeah.
that
It works.
for the first part, it was hard, especially shooting on the day, because like if she saw something that she wanted to capture,
Yep.
and I've already got the bride and groom or whoever like in that spot, and then like we wouldn't bicker on the day. We made it known that like we just wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Yep.
We'd take it home and make
Yeah.
take it
Different
home.
story.
But like it's hard when you have two like main shooters
Yeah.
shooting.
Mhm.
So I find it. I'm happy to go to weddings today
Mhm.
and just shoot by myself.
Yeah.
But I still use second shooters occasionally, or I use a good friend of mine, Matt, who shoots film. So sometimes he comes along when it's a big wedding.
Yeah.
He'll purely shoot film, and I'll shoot digi. But it's-
'Cause did you do video at some stage as well with Involve?
no. So Yes and no. So basically, about 7 years ago, one of my best mates, Jared Lucas,
Yep.
he had his own brand.
He shot my wedding.
Yeah. I
But
still,
he's retired now.
yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
he's so amazing.
He's great. He lives around the corner from me.
Everyone's
Yeah.
coming out of retirement though, so who
Yeah,
knows?
you never know. You never know.
Yeah.
But yeah, we started about 7 years ago. We kind of collaborated.
Yeah.
And so couples knew they were booking Jared. I handled all the admin and I'd kind of lock him in. But I'd never done the other answer to that is I still shoot elopement films. So when I work for the Elopement Collective, like when Ainsley and I were doing it, she'd shoot photos, I'd shoot video if they booked video. These days, if they book photo video, I'll most likely shoot video unless I get a videographer in and then someone will shoot photos. But that might be only like a handful of times a year. But weddings, I've never shot video for weddings. It's always been with Jared, and then now since Jared's hung up his boots on the camera, it's been Dylan Dirk. So I
He's
collaborate with
awesome.
him.
Yeah.
good
And what are your
friend of mine.
thoughts on the new social media content creators? Are you
Yeah,
you
it
just
doesn't
work
bother me.
cohesive with them?
It doesn't bother me. Like, if you asked me this 5, 6, 7 years ago, probably would have.
Yeah.
But like, to me, I just want to be a part of the couple's day. And if they've booked a content creator, that's what they
The
want.
best
So
outcome for them. Yeah.
my main priority is getting along with
Yeah.
anyone and everyone on the day, making sure they're getting what they need and I'm getting what I need, making sure we're working together as a team. So like, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
They're all great.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I feel like most of them are like walking on eggshells to make sure that you as a photographer or videographer are in the right. Like the amount of people I'll rock up and they're like, look, I won't be in the way. Tell me to get out of the way if you want. And they're like really on purpose. I'm not going to be in the way for you. And that just works so well because then most of the time you're like, oh no, it's fine. Come on. It's all good.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
it's not like they're going to be like this alpha and like trying to get the shot or anything like
That's
that.
right. They're very considerate, and as long as that's the thing. As long as everyone's enjoying the day, like I'm enjoying the day, vendors enjoying the day, the couple are enjoying the day. Cause like I always say to my couples, like photos hold so much sentimental value and memories, and like if you look back on the photo could be absolute epic photos, but if you got memories of like photographer or content creator in your face, or not enjoying it, or you just wanted to drink, or whatever that is, they're not going to mean as much to you. So
Yeah.
I want everyone to enjoy the day. At the end of the day. Yeah.
Can we talk about your branding a little bit? Because your branding is like, wow. Like, I mean, like, there's not that many. I feel like there are so many good Instagram feeds now that you don't really stop on many. But whenever I kind of check yours out, like just the curation of it all,
Yes. Yeah.
the branding is on point.
Yeah.
Is that something that's been a really strong focal point for a while?
Yeah. I think. Sorry.
Do you plan that out? Post?
Yes, we
Yeah.
do. So I think the biggest thing for us has been refinement and curation. Like we only show the couples we want to attract, and so although I think posting on Instagram and social media is important, doing that regularly. If you look at my feed, I haven't posted in about a month. Part of that's because just too busy. Like I've got kids and stuff, and don't have time for it. Other thing is we just want to make sure our feed is curated and is refined to the point where if a couple lands on it, because that's often where they land first, they land on that and they go to their website, our website. It's exactly what they want. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you still finding, like we talk about it a fair bit, but like organically, are people still coming as much through Instagram as what they were?
I think so. So there's kind of two trains of thought two ways that couples are kind of coming to us, and that's either through like relationships or referrals, word of mouth. That's probably my biggest thing. Like I've got time in the bank where I've been shooting weddings for 10 years. So like often I'll shoot a wedding and then I'd shoot their friend's wedding and it just kind of snowballed from there. So that's one thing. There's also relationships with vendors. So I do my best to share or like make sure they have the photos and they're posting, and that's getting another organic reach to their followers. And the other thing is social media though as well. It is like if you ask me this like 7 years ago, I was paying for Facebook and Instagram ads, but I haven't paid for a Meta ad in 5 years or so. Like it's just purely organic, which has been a blessing for us. To be able to post something and know that hopefully I'll get a wedding off the back of that. That's why it's important to stay on those kind of trends of reels and like carousels and all
And
that kind of
collaborative
stuff.
posts
Collaborative
as well.
posts, all that kind of stuff is important because like I might post something and then a stylist or planner or florist or whoever may share that photo, and that's getting that organic reach, which is great.
Yeah. So like, yeah, even for like, you'd have a wedding and Sarah's done all the flowers for you. and like that is so important that like because it is just someone else selling your work. Like
Yeah.
Sarah's like, look at these awesome photos we got of our flowers, and then
Yeah.
all like it's just her telling everyone else about how good your photos are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, do you make much of an effort outside of like? I feel it's so easy to just be like ask people on Instagram like, hey, can you share this? But like, would you ever like, are you reaching out to Sarah outside of like Instagram, like to other vendors just to chat? Like I was talking to someone else about this the other day. It's like you'll see someone at a wedding and then you won't see him for like 3 months and you didn't talk at all in between there.
Yeah.
And it's not like on purpose. It's just
Yeah.
because like, oh, we just saw each other at work.
Yeah.
But like I feel like more and more people are trying to actually get together in the real world and actually talk about things outside of like
Yeah.
our wedding day.
Yeah.
Because we never really get to. Everyone's sort of too
Yeah.
busy lives and kids and things.
Yeah.
But then you see each other on the wedding day. Hug, hello.
Yeah.
You go to the couple, yes, running. We're packing the van with flowers. Like it's never really get to sit and chat.
Yeah,
but we all know each other. We have for many years. So I know what you're saying. Everyone's trying to get that community again.
Yeah.
Maybe outside of just seeing each other on a wedding day.
Yeah, when everyone's like
Yeah.
frantic and running around
Yeah,
and
but I do
sweating.
imagine you've got 2 kids that you're not like, hey, what's up? Do you want to go for coffee? Doing weddings.
Yeah, it's hard. Like, I'd love to. And like when you guys hosted the photography and videography workshop thing a couple of weeks ago, that was great. Like, I never really get to go to those things because I got 2 kids and like you want that spare time you want to spend with family. My thing is like I'll do my best to like touch base on like Instagram. Or so if they do a post, whether that's commenting or whether that's giving them encouragement. But outside of that, unfortunately, I just don't have the time.
Yeah, for sure.
At the moment. Yeah.
Do you find many other like photographers are kind of coming to you for advice? Like, you know, people are looking up to you. Are a lot of people kind of sliding
Yeah.
into your DMs?
Yes, yeah. Probably like I kind of making this figure up, but maybe like one every 2 or 3 weeks. Like I'd get someone messaging me, whether that's encouragement, or whether that's asking questions, or whether that's
Work experience?
yes, yeah.
Mhm.
A lot of people want to shoot, and my opinion on that is like wedding days are not that.
They're not, to be
Yes.
training someone up. Yeah.
I've done it a few times, and it's so hard to like kind of educate them or show them how I'd shoot things and talk to them while giving my full attention to couples. So yeah, there's so many workshops and mentor programs and like online education these days. I encourage photographers to look at them. But I'm an open book. Like I'm not someone that will hide my secrets if I've got any. Or like I'm happy to catch up with other photographers for a coffee and just kind of help them out with their business. Like I'm not going to charge for it. I'm completely an open book when it comes to that side of things. But like shooting on a wedding day, like I don't see it as like work experience.
Yeah.
Especially the couples I'm shooting, I'm there 100%.
And the
for them.
couples have paid for that service. Yeah.
For sure, yeah.
I even find that with the social media. It's like as soon as you kind of need to do the behind the scenes on your phone, it takes you away from like the job you're there to do.
Yes,
Yeah.
And it's like, this is going to build my business, but this is taking away from my job.
yes, yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it's hard to be in 2 places at once. Like you do definitely need like that other person there so they can just focus on that and you're just doing the job.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a strange one.
It's hard. Like I rarely get so I'm never on my phone. Like I just want to be there for the couple. And I think with the whole trend changing, like I've got like 3 cameras around my neck often. Like I'm shooting one with flash, I'm shooting just like a standard camera, and I've got like a 35mm photography or a medium format. So I've got so many things I'm trying to capture for the couple. So it's like
You're in the zone. You don't
I'm in the
really
zone.
need to
Yes,
be
yeah.
telling someone.
Sometimes I might get one out and get a shot of like the tablescape or the ceremony. I'm like, what's the point of posting that? Just do one quick shot here today. So I'm like, I just kind of leave it now. And I hope that other people get behind the scenes stuff and I can just reshare.
It's a little bit, I feel like for me, for example, at the end when we finished a setup in here and I'm trying to get some videos of the table while people are pouring waters and, into the cut glasses because, you're at the very end of it. I think photographers, you guys know that you're going to get the beautiful photo shots because they will clear the room for you guys to come in. Like, I feel like I almost feel like saying, can I just have 3 minutes to film the room? But just in case I don't get those photos or if you didn't get that photo of that epic table arrangement that I think is a masterpiece, but you guys didn't capture it, that sort of thing. So it's like the photographer, you'll get those photos, but the other vendors maybe not so much. But it is, when do we have time to really go clear the room? Let's get the content. Maybe the like the on the day content creators that are doing that, they might have a better chance when you guys all come in and shoot those hero shots in the room. But I feel like that content, the videos, reels are so important to then be, I find it important so that I can then make a reel to post on Instagram.
This wouldn't happen very often, but say you have, I'm assuming if you have this epic wedding, you're probably going to have an epic photographer anyway.
Yeah.
But say you have an epic wedding, you're like, I need photos of this.
Yeah.
And you don't know the photographer. would you ever bring in a photographer to take
I
photos?
have done that in the past. I
Yep.
have pretty good relationships with all the photographers that I might say like, "Hey, Harley, could you just get a big hero shot of the bridal table?" So I would generally do that. But if if it was a mega epic wedding, I would outlay the money to have someone come in. But then also you don't want to step on the photographer's toes doing that either by having this random shooter to come in the venue be like, "Hey, they're not on the run sheet." So you never want to put people out. So you just hope as like, me not having a floristry shop front, the photos are so important. That is my portfolio. That's what couples are landing on the page and checking out our work, that you hope the photographer's going to get the shots, and you always get beautiful shots. Like I have definitely worked with photographers in the past I've never worked with, and the bride will even say to me, "I'm so disappointed. I spent all that money on the reception flowers and they hardly got any photos of them." So I just communicate with brides now. I meet all my brides before the wedding and I just say, if you want photos, just tell the photographer you'd like some photos of the epic ceremony installation setup. Just communication.
Yep.
I've learned
Do you,
over the
fi-
years.
do you find you're putting like time for that allocated in your run sheets or like the planners that you're dealing with?
I try to. It's like venues like Valley Estate are great because they come and tell me when they're lighting the candles and things like that. For example, my wedding yesterday, time just literally didn't permit that to happen. And I said to them, it was about 10 minutes before the guests were entering the reception, and I said to them, we're out in the field taking photos, and I said to them, do you want me to go get some photos of the reception or to stay here? And they didn't care about
And
the
some couples
reception.
don't care because some couples don't prioritize flowers or styling. Like, we don't
100%.
care. And then the couples that do and they spend all that money to make it beautiful, they might want the shots more, but some couples don't care.
I
just
really
very
enjoy
simple
shooting like
details.
table-scapes.
Yeah.
And like flowing textures and cool florals and like
I think
lighting.
especially when you have like a stylist involved and you know that
Yeah.
they've curated those
Yeah.
menus
Yeah,
and the
100%.
the textures and flowers. on the
Actually,
table.
funnily enough, what you say, the photographer coming along with florists or stylists or whatever, I gave that advice to someone the other day. They asked if they could shoot, and I just gave my spiel that I don't see weddings as like as that.
Yeah.
Place to learn. But I said like my encouragement on top of like style shoots, even though I've got certain opinions around style shoots, like style shoots are great, but I just find it funny when you have a bride and groom sitting at a table with like just styling there. It's like that's not going to happen on a wedding day. But yeah, style shoots are great. I did them. But one encouragement I said is reach out to like stylists or florists or whoever and just come along, ask them if they want their stuff shot.
Yeah,
Come
I've had
along
a
to it.
photographer come and do that before. It was
Yeah.
cool. It gave me content. She got to shoot all the
That's
flowers.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the studio. That was like she actually came to
Yeah.
our warehouse and did that.
Yeah, cool. Even on the day, like I don't know, some photographers may see that as stepping on their toes or not liking it. For me, it's kind of like, yeah, like I don't really care. Like,
Yeah, if you all work together.
that's right. Yeah, a lot of venues or vendors, I see like content creators coming out, shooting behind the scenes of them, and it's like such a big thing. Where it doesn't bother me, but like for them to get content of like cool tables or florals or whatever, I think that adds to their portfolio and adds to building that kind of higher end brand.
Yep. It could almost take the pressure off a little bit because it is like that. You're having this epic sunset or you're having like the portrait shoot's epic and you're like, this is sick.
Yeah.
And I know that's inside. I need to get photos of that. But like, what do I do? It's like, it almost like take the pressure off a little bit, especially if you knew the photographer that was coming in to get photos for you were going to be epic photos too. You could then come in and get like ones, but know that you're safe.
Yeah, totally.
Because half the time it's like, you're like, oh, like.
Yeah, and you kind of just leave and you're like, oh, just trust that the photographer will get some pics. And then like sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. So it probably would just be worth having someone.
But it's even like working for the couple or working, like we're going to work with you way more often than another couple. So we want to look after you and get the shots you need, but we're hired by the couple. So we really need to look after them.
Yeah,
and
totally.
it's so like two different
fun
worlds,
balance.
like to be, like even, a lot of times you need to get back here because entrees are going to be here now.
Yeah.
But the couple's like, we want to stay out 15 more minutes because the sun's setting and this looks beautiful. And you want to get back because you want to be in the good books, the venue and the kitchen and everything like
and
that.
hence why you always see photographers like running, like trying to be in two places at once.
Yeah. So it's always.
It's funny though, like a lot of my weddings these days, the timeline's changed. So like, I think gone are the days where I'm like, it's kind of like ceremony, family photos.
Do you do a lot of first looks?
First looks?
Yeah.
Like I do. Like I probably like a handful a year. I don't mind them. It's
totally
up to the
a
couple.
personal preference. Like,
Totally. Yeah. It's completely up to the couple.
I think just getting that emotion, like I didn't do a first look and
Yeah.
walk down the aisle. My husband bawled his eyes out. I didn't. But getting that was captured.
Yes.
That was like, and getting that raw emotion. But
Yeah.
then I too see the benefits in having a first look because then you get so much more time with your guests at cocktail hour, which you usually don't get. So there's pros and cons.
And it makes sometimes couples feel more comfortable because they've had that moment.
Absolutely. In
Um,
private.
yeah, I feel like for me, like kind of first looks are fading out a little bit more. Uh,
Mhm.
I don't know why I don't shoot as many as I kind of used to 3 4 years ago. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's completely up to the couple.
Yeah.
I want them to do what they want to do. I want them to have their day if they want to do that.
Yeah, I was listening to the Alter Egos podcast, and they were talking about it, and they were saying how like for winter weddings, having a first look can be really good because the days are so much shorter.
Yeah.
Then you're having this
Yeah.
first look, and then you can actually have some time to be with your guests and everything after the ceremony. Otherwise, if not, you're pretty much going straight to portraits, and you don't have any of that time at all.
Yeah.
Whereas like summer, having the longer days, it's not as important. And also, if you're doing a first look, your makeup's sweating and running and everything
Yeah.
anyway. So it's
Like,
like maybe
yeah,
not the best
Queensland
idea.
summer weddings.
Yeah, I feel like, as I was going to say before, like the portrait sessions aren't as long these days. Like a lot of my couples, I'm kind of planning like 10-minute stints here and there. Like, because I love shooting like harsh light and I love doing also flash photos at night. So it's like we're just breaking the day up more. So it might be like 10 minutes here. Might shoot the bridal party, they take them out for 10 minutes. They can go mingle for another half an hour, 45 minutes, bring them out just for a couple more sunset photos. They enter the reception and then take them out kind of towards the end of the night when I'm leaving, do some flash photos as well. So it's kind of just like breaking up the day as opposed to just going out for like an hour,
Yeah.
spending all that time
Mhm.
doing all those photos when you can just break it up. And you're also getting, like they're getting time to spend with guests and you're getting those kind of like candid shots with guests as well, which is cool. And they're having an enjoyable day.
Yeah, and you can almost plan those 10 minutes as well. Like these are kind of the shots I want in this 10 minutes instead of like having that longer time where it's just like, this is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Whereas
Yeah.
like, yeah, you're just like, these are the night shots. I want
Yeah.
this, 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 this. And you're like,
Yeah.
cool, 10 minutes, we're done.
Yeah, for sure.
Are you taking them out before like first dance and everything like that?
I usually do it. It sort of depends. Often my couples having a dress change. So they'll usually do the first dance. Not all the time. They usually do the first dance though in like their ceremony gown and then change to like a party dress. And so I'm usually doing the night shots in that party dress, like with champagne in hand, just going for a little walk. So it's usually like, say I finish at 9, I'll just pull them out around 9ish when I'm packing up and I'll just take them out for 5 or 10 minutes. have a
I
drink.
love those night shots that you
Yeah.
see. They're fun.
Yeah, it's so fun. Like, yes, I love a good sunset photo, but I feel like it's less about that these days. It's less about those big, epic, wide shots or landscape shots. It's just more, it's just more capturing the vibe and the feelings of the day.
And do you feel that that's also the places you're saying like you're mainly like kind of Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne.
Yeah,
Do you feel that that kind of ties in with the venues you're shooting at more as well?
for sure. Yeah. Like, and just being in that higher budget, like those couples, I don't know, generally don't want to go out for hours on end. And I don't want them to do anything they don't want to. And also, I just run out of ideas as
Yeah.
well. It's easy just for 10-minute stints because, like, you can just go for a walk, cuddle, kiss, and then you're kind of done. Go back, hang out, go do it again, different spot, and just add a little bit of flair or creativeness to those shots. But yeah, like shooting kind of in the city or in like those kind of bigger budget weddings and bigger venues and things like that. I think that's what couples seem to want these days.
Yep. Did you find that you always kind of like not even targeted that market, but just kind of fell into that market from when you began?
Not from when we began.
Yeah.
Definitely not. Like we always start at kind of like the lower budget or like, and you don't really know. And I think because it's become a lot more on trend, that's what we resonate with. Like I don't really like, I do find inspiration from other wedding photographers and weddings. Like, don't get me wrong, I do, but a lot of my background or where I find my inspiration is from fashion. And so I'm probably more looking at fashion and that kind of influences those kind of higher budget weddings these days or higher end weddings where it's more about the dress or the details and things like that over like I don't shoot many like country weddings, for example, where it's just where you're just going out in the field and shooting along grass. That was us 5 years ago, or whatever. But now it's a little bit more cities and
Elevated.
elevated, weddings.
Yep. And okay, we'll go back to like styled shoots then. Are a lot of your styled shoots kind of moving more towards like more, I guess, fashion campaign shoots more so than styled shoots?
Yeah. So what do you mean by that? Like,
So it's like I feel like Same thing, like it's for florists,
Mhm.
you do any styled shoot and you're like,
Yeah.
cool, there's
Mm.
$5,000 on flowers for
Yeah,
like
like it
something.
has to be worth
Yeah.
it. Ooh. It's
Well-
kind of like open days as well. Like it's got, because flowers are so expensive, like it's got to be worth it. But when you get an amazing team
Mm.
together, like the thrill you get of it, like a styled shoot,
Yeah.
it's like awesome because you've got an amazing
Mm.
photographer who's going to capture it well. Like it's good. Then you get to do what you want to do. Like I do love styled shoots for that
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like tying in with your brand more would be like, I feel if you had say 3 or 4 different dresses and you're shooting, like almost like a campaign shoot for a dress,
Mm.
would be more in line with your brands
Yeah.
and be something like you'd be more interested in doing that.
For sure. Yeah, I think so. If I was to run like a workshop, it'd be a content workshop.
Mhm.
Like I remember, I think it was like 2019. I was part of like the Lane crew, and one of their workshops was to go to Sydney, and we were in like this warehouse, and basically they broke up. The Like it was over 3 hours. They broke up. I think it was 3 hours. The hours. So each hour you shot either dresses, like a model with
Mhm.
a bunch of like I'm talking 20, 30, $40,000
Wow.
dresses. The second hour was like shooting like a couple, and the third hour was shooting a couple of tablescapes, and so that was really cool. It's just kind of it's just like a content workshop, just getting that. In saying that, I haven't done a workshop or a styled shoot or anything in years. Like, it's it's not something I really spend time on because I'm shooting so many weddings, and I'm shooting some other things outside of weddings like fashion and architecture stuff as well. So just a time factor for me.
Would you ever move into like the education space at all?
Yeah, we've thought about it for so long. Like as I said earlier, like I studied teaching. I've got a real passion for education, but like also Ains and I are more perfectionists, and so we wouldn't want to do anything half-assed. We'd want
Yeah.
to really put our effort into it. And so like we've done a few mentorships over the years. Nothing in the last like 3 to 4 years since we've had kids. I've been talking. I don't want to say a name because I don't want to put that pressure on us to launch it. I've been talking with another photographer though, who's a good friend of mine, and yeah, we've been talking about launching one for about 2 years. Probably more down that content route, but it's just time. We're both
Yeah.
super busy, and yeah, I want to do it, but I love educating photographers, but it's just purely time. And like the reason we started the business was to have that lifestyle with our kids, and I don't want to add more to the plate to take away from that.
Mhm.
And like I always have to tell myself and my wife, it's like it's not forever.
Yes,
like you got
yeah.
young kids now.
Yeah.
All of a sudden they're
Mhm.
at school and you've
Mm.
got your Monday to Friday back again.
For
Like
sure.
then's the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like you
When
got
the timing's right.
Yeah,
I say that
exactly.
every year. I'm like, I've been wanting to do master classes every year and it just hasn't happened 'cause I'm always so busy with weddings and now I have a
Yeah.
little baby. So it's like, I know it will come eventually, but it's got to feel right. You can't push it.
Yes,
And
yeah.
I'm like, you're a perfectionist. So
Yes, yeah.
it could be, a couple of years away, but you'll do it well.
Yes, yeah, 100%. And there's so many other good workshops and mentorship programs and online education. Like there's so much out there for that, and I kind of feel like it's a little bit saturated. And so if I did it, I'd push myself to do something slightly different. And I don't know what that really looks like, to be honest. So I've just kind of stayed away from it. And like as I said, always happy to catch up with other photographers if they have questions or if they just want to learn from me. I'm just happy to do that. Like when I have time between looking after kids.
That's it. You kind of like you're working in the business, not on it. I think to then create like a big workshop thing, you'd have to work on the business and find the time to do that.
For sure.
Instead of working in it, do weddings, they take up a lot of time.
Yeah, 100%.
As we all know.
Yeah.
Can we talk a little bit about AI within the business?
Yeah.
Are you kind of leveraging any AI to help out with the business?
Yeah, a little bit. So we use AI to do the first run of edits. So usually when I shoot a wedding, I'd come home and back it up either that night or the next morning, depending. And then I'd cull the wedding and then run it through AI. And
Whoa. What is this? What is this technology?
Well, it's like I feel like culling is a big part, isn't it? Because like culling is
That's
your
awesome.
curation.
Yes, yeah.
Like so that's where like these are the shots.
Yes,
Yeah.
AI kind of gets you to the point where it used to take you, hours to kind of get your white balance good, your exposure good, and everything like that.
If someone's eyes were closed or something, could it pick up on that?
Not
No?
so much that part of like
Okay.
what we're talking about, but it would more so get you to like a happy starting point where you're like, now I can start the creative edit.
Okay.
Everything's kind of
cool.
at a nice happy medium that now I can start.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Whereas it used to take hours to get to that point. Even if you're a really good photographer, lights changing in and out and everything like that,
Sure.
and especially like back when it was DSLR, it varied a lot.
Wow.
Yeah, so-
Technology moving with the times.
it's definitely helped. But like even prior to kind of AI and using that, we'd we'd have other editors or an editor in Sydney, who's a friend of mine who used to edit majority of our weddings, but it'd get us to the point where it'd probably be equivalent to AI. So um, Ainsley, perfectionist, female eye,
Mhm.
she still spends hours on photos. So
Yeah.
it may have cut down time a little bit, but um, yeah, we kind of use it as like the first base run, and then she'll crop or change color, or I don't
But I
edit.
mean,
So it's all her. Or
moving
take out
with
a
the
pimple.
times, if that can help you save a bit of time,
Mm.
I need some machines like this for
Yeah,
flowers.
exactly. Yes,
Honestly,
yeah,
I would, utilize them.
100%.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Even with admin though, like I don't use any like CRM or anything. I've
Mhm.
kind of shout out to Josh Withers who helped me build mine because like Ainsley does all the editing. I've got a lot more time for business and admin and
Mhm.
bookkeeping and all that kind of stuff. But I use a program called Zapier who
Mhm.
like that kind of zaps things into my calendar and things like that.
Yep.
I'll still like personalize a lot of emails though, because say it's a Sydney wedding, I've got to talk about travel a little bit
Yep.
or whatever that may be. And I do like that personal touch, but I still have templated or canned responses
Yeah.
to things, and I'll just add my
That's
own touch
always
to it.
my advice to like florists wanting to get into the industry. I'm like,
Mm.
building your portfolio is huge, but getting your systems in place.
Yes, yeah.
Like getting, email templates, getting like systems in place. Because I remember back in the day, I cringed to think of like all the times I would, write all of the emails out really long. And now I have templates, and even with quotes and design briefs, templates I can go into and crop and change things out just to save time. But
Yeah.
back when I first started out, I was doing everything was taking me so long.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
you can get those systems in place early, it's going to save you so much time in the long run.
Yeah, definitely.
Even on our initial lead form now, like having like a link to like, hey, book a Calendly call now. Like
Yeah.
even them being able to click on that right there and
That's
book in a call
clever.
versus like, hey, do you want to get on the link? And they're like on a
Yeah.
call, and then they'll email back. Yeah,
Like,
that sounds
what
great.
dates,
What
work?
about this? Like,
Yes, yeah.
and no one books one.
Yes, yeah.
But like probably
that's
like
clever.
1 in every 3 will now book
Mhm.
like a Zoom call straight off the initial inquiry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then obviously people are likely way higher likely to book if they actually get on the phone with you.
I'm finding that just with booking clients, like I meet face to face or Zoom. Zoom works extremely well with all clients, and we usually do it. I'll say, we're gonna have a chat before we do a quote, or I always like to do it. I place flower orders like about 4 weeks out. I always like to do a call, 6 to 7, 8 weeks out. Or a face-to-face meeting. But I'm finding that I'm saying to couples, I'll send them the design brief and the quote, and then I say, if you're happy, we can just lock in a quick phone chat to go over things. And then they just feel so much more comfortable with you, and it feels more personal. And then 9 times out of 10, they say, yep, we'd love to go ahead and book a deposit.
Yeah.
Like just having a quick phone call makes
Yeah.
all the difference.
Yeah, for me, it's actually the opposite.
Is that?
I don't know why. I find
Yeah.
the higher end market, or my couples,
Yeah.
when I say higher end market, there's photographers, plenty of photographers
Yeah.
that are way
Mhm.
better than me or charge a lot more than me. But like, I feel like for us, like gone are those days of like jumping on the call. I don't know. Like, I feel like I just get inquiries,
Yeah.
send packages, and book.
That's so
And
maybe because flowers, it's so bespoke and so detailed, and the
for sure.
ceremony installation will be so different, and they're all so different, all the different quotes that we do. But I get that if you've just got your beautiful package, it's a
Yes.
no-brainer.
Yeah,
And they
no.
love your Instagram, they love your work. They're like, oh,
Yeah.
easy, we don't even
And
need to chat, we'll book
to
in.
us, it's about like establishing. They've established that trust already because they've seen
Yeah.
like, for example, our client journey at the start is like they may see us on Instagram, so they've seen those photos, or they've seen us at another wedding
Yeah.
that we've shot. Then they land on the website, they see a few blogs, that's curated work, obviously. But then on the inquiry, we send them full galleries of weddings.
Yeah.
So hundreds on there, so they can go through as many or as little as they like and see a full wedding. And on top of that, we also send them like a free wedding guide.
That also takes it back to, that sounds like incredible systems to have in place. That
Yes, yeah.
saves you time because you just
For
go,
sure.
yeah, we send all that out. They can do all their research,
Yeah,
and then it
yeah.
saves you time on
Yeah.
the back end stuff.
And if they want to jump on the phone, like I had a phone meeting with someone the other day, just wanted to run over everything, and that's also fine. But I'd say most of my couples are like, I always laugh at photographers who don't. Some of them don't even reply to like just the messages, packages please, or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
So I'll reply to that,
Mhm.
and often it's those ones that have the money that don't have the time,
Yeah.
and so often I'll book those ones because they know they've seen our work.
Yep.
They don't want to write this paragraphs
Yeah,
and paragraphs
yeah.
of story.
Yeah.
And so I book those ones, and they're
Yeah.
just happy to lock it in.
Nice and easy.
So, yes.
Mhm.
And often I'm working with planners as well. And
Yep.
so they've kind of referred me, or I'm going through a planner. So I always say to my couples, I can be there for you as much or as little as you like. Like if you want to call me 3 or 4 times before the wedding, let's do it. But if you want to just call me once, like my minimum requirement is like at least like once a month out or so, just to run over the details. and most of them do that. Most,
Yeah. And then I had a wedding on Friday in Byron, and I tried to touch base with the bride before, hello, do you want to have a chat before I lock in all the flower orders and everything? And she said, if I have to make one more decision, I
Yes,
don't want to.
yes.
So I love everything you do. I
Yeah.
trust it. Like, just surprise me on the day.
Yeah.
And she was so chill, so awesome. And it was beautiful. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
always nice as well when you have that trust put
Trust.
in you, and they don't want to go over every sort of color and things like that. I'm like, oh, easy. Great.
Yeah, for
Mhm.
sure.
Yeah, and I guess like the clientele you get, their friends booking you is trust enough for them. You
For
know,
sure.
they're probably earning
Yeah.
about the same amount of money. They're kind of
Yes.
swinging the same circles.
Yeah.
They're like, well, yeah, our friends booked you. They spent 200 grand on their wedding, whatever it is. The kind of trust is already built in
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
because they've seen you work there as
Yeah.
well.
Yep.
And yeah, especially if they're going through planners and everything like that. It was like, well, yeah, someone else has said like he's amazing. Go book them.
Yes, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing for us is that trust factor. As I said before, we've got kind of like time in the bank that we've shot so many weddings. People have seen us at other weddings, and I'll often turn up to a wedding and there's someone that I've either shot or they've just seen me in another wedding, and yeah, so it's the whole trust thing for us.
Coming back to trust then, like with the whole magazines, obviously they were huge back in the day.
Mm.
I feel like there's a lot of people like, yeah, we still go with magazines and we still advertise in magazines, but it's not so much for the reach that the magazines get. It's just more so that then we're affiliated with that magazine, which builds trust
Yes,
in
yeah.
our brand.
Yeah.
How do you feel about?
Yeah, like I'll go on one or two a year. Like I always look at it as like brand awareness.
Mhm.
It's just enhancing your brand a little bit. I don't think they bring in as much bookings as what they used to.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think they definitely enhance your brand. Like you've probably seen all that. The joke is like featured on Vogue or
Yeah.
Yeah.
or Harley's Bazaar.
Well,
or
you
whatever.
pay, like, this might be a little bit controversial and it's a bit icky, but there's, one that I pay. I've been with them for 2 years now and pay like a lot of money. And then they do this, Australia's top 10 florists or something. And then they include like me and other florists that are listed and then some other florists that aren't listed. And it happened recently. And I had girlfriends sending it to me like, oh my God, babe, you listed with these people. And I was like, yeah, nice. I didn't actually repost it because I just felt a bit icky about it. Because I'm like, yeah, I pay for them to say that I'm, one of Australia's best florists. But there's all these other people on there that also don't pay. So I'm like, that's so, I would like to think I am one of Australia's great florist, but I'm also like, I'm kind of paid to say that. So it's a bit, I don't know, I feel a bit funny about it as
Yes,
the older I get into the industry. I'm a
Yeah.
bit like, it's like fake because people are kind of paying for their membership to be
Yeah.
in this like best florist in Australia list,
Like, but when I was speaking to Danny from Hello May, she was the same thing. She's like, of course I'm going to look after people that advertise with
Yeah,
us.
true.
Like, everyone tries to make that really like, oh no, I won't play favorites even if they advertise. Like they're supporting my business and my
Yeah.
lifestyle and everything like that. Of course I'm going to put them out there and I'm going to recommend them. And she's like actively trying to do as much as she possibly can.
That's so true.
to
And you
really
wouldn't
push
be on
her vendors.
you wouldn't be on their list and pay the membership if they didn't come to you thinking that you were. Maybe I can't take a compliment. That's my problem. Yeah.
But yeah, I think
And I did hear Denny say that on the Hello May interview. So that makes sense.
Which like I feel is really good because there are so many people like, yeah, we don't pay favorites and it isn't like, yeah, it is an advertorial piece, but they wouldn't have you there unless they wanted you there in the first place.
Exactly.
They've got enough, Hello May have enough people wanting to advertise with them.
Exactly. Contacting them to
Yes, yeah.
advertise. Yeah. And this particular listing, they came to me. So that is such a compliment. Maybe I just need to chill out and just take a compliment then.
Post it everywhere next week on social media.
Yeah, you'll see me reposting it.
Yeah,
Oh.
of course. And then last thing about like your client journey, you like kind of touched on earlier.
Yeah.
Do you find might not be that relevant? Like you're saying, like people might have a little bit less time there. Might be more corporate and high flyers that you're booking with. But do you have to educate a lot of your clients very much? Your couples?
Not really. Like the way, as I said, like my client journey will go from like the booking process. They book. We've kind of developed over the last year. Kind of launched it about a year ago. We've got like a client portal. So once they book, once they lock in the day, they have access to this portal, and on there are things like a wedding day guide, which is like a 20 or 30 page document that we have sent on the inquiry anyway, but they've got that to kind of reference.
Yeah.
Then we've got like timeline guides, vendor recommendations. Then it has like a family photo list form that and then a wedding day questionnaire that doesn't need to be filled out until a couple of weeks prior. But yeah, so that's like a little bit of education. But I feel like gone are the days of like I still shoot engagement shoots, and I'm definitely not crapping on them because I've got a few next month, and I actually do enjoy doing them. But like I don't shoot as many as engagement shoots as I used to. It's kind of like they've seen our work, they trust us, and I'd probably say 90% of couples like on that kind of final meeting. I always like to ask the questions: is there anything that you like, any must-have shots, or anything that you really want? And I'd probably say 80, 90% of the couples like, no, we trust you. We booked you for your style.
Mhm.
So yeah, just happy for you to do your thing on
Yep.
the day.
Like a fire engagement shoots can be hard where it's like, I almost feel like I'm using up all the wedding poses and stuff I'm
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
do on my engagement shoot. And then we're going
Yeah.
to get to the wedding and we're going to kind of do the same things.
Yes,
you
yeah,
know?
100%. Yeah. And I always say that to couples. Like it's probably going to be a little bit similar, but you're going to have this big
Mhm.
gown or something. And so it'll be slightly different, but it'll be mostly the same stuff. And also that's just what they want to do. They want to know that they look good in front of the camera and you're looking after them.
Yep.
So, yeah.
It's almost easy. You got the props of the flowers and everything
Yeah,
like that. It's
yeah,
almost
that's
like
right.
easier.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, where can people reach you and everything like that?
Just on our website, bulbcreative.co or bulb.creative on Instagram. Yeah, reach out if photographers or couples they want to book or they want to chat. Definitely reach out. I'm an open book, so happy to help anyone.
Awesome. All right. Any dream locations you want to go to at the moment? Like I know you want to stay local as much as
Yeah.
possible. But
Just
say there was
local.
like one wedding,
Yeah.
like you could go anywhere.
Well,
Pin drop Gold Coast.
yeah. Nah, not really. Like I'm just happy to go wherever couples want me to go. Like I'll kind of book wherever, as long as it's probably in Australia at the moment, just so I can be home, in my own bed, or
Mhm.
at least only 1 or 2 days of travel and then back home
Yeah.
with the family.
Beautiful. Awesome, Harley. Thank you so much for coming
Thank
on,
you so
mate.
much, guys.
you.
Appreciate it.
Amazing. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thanks for tuning in to the Wedco podcast. We're dropping a fresh episode every week featuring industry professionals dishing out the wedding wisdom you need to turn those dreams into reality. Make sure you are following us on social media, you have those notifications turned on so we can help plan your wedding day. Your dream wedding day just got a whole lot easier. Thanks for listening.